In the heart of West Africa, a nation grappling with immense challenges witnessed a gesture that resonated far beyond its borders. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, at the remarkably young age of 34, assumed leadership of Burkina Faso in September 2022. He was not a career politician but a military officer propelled to power by a wave of national discontent and a desperate need for security. Almost immediately, he made a decision that set him apart from the conventional image of a head of state. He publicly announced that he would not accept the presidential salary. This single act, simple on its surface, became a powerful statement about leadership, sacrifice, the very soul of his nation. Today is September 29, 2025, 3 years into his tenure. This decision continues to define his public persona and shape the political narrative of his country. At its core, Captain Traoré's refusal of a presidential salary is a masterclass in symbolic politics. In a landscape where trust has been shattered, it's a powerful non-verbal communication to a populace weary of corruption and disconnected leaders. For generations, they've seen public office as a path to enrichment, creating a deep cynicism that this single act directly confronts. In a country where the gap between the ruling class and the average citizen can feel like an impassable chasm, this gesture acts as a bridge. It acknowledges the separate worlds, one of armored convoys, the other of dirt roads and underfunded clinics. By rejecting the perks of his office, Traoré symbolically aligns himself with the everyday struggles of his people. It immediately broadcasts a message of patriotism and sacrifice. It suggests his motivation is not personal financial gain, but a genuine desire to serve and protect the nation. In a country battling for its sovereignty, this reframes leadership as an act of service, placing the nation's welfare above personal comfort. This is the first step toward building trust with a deeply cynical public. After decades of elites amassing fortunes while national problems festered, skepticism is the default. An act of self-denial from the highest office is a potent antidote, a down payment on a new social contract where accountability starts at the top. Foregoing pay fosters a sense of shared struggle and solidarity, for the farmer in a rural village struggling with drought, for the student in Ouagadougou facing an uncertain job market, for the soldier on the front lines risking his life for a modest wage. It tells them their leader shares in their sacrifice, transforming individual hardship into a collective national effort. It reframes the leader not as a distant, privileged figure, but as a first citizen who shares the people's burdens, making calls for unity and resilience more credible. When he asks the nation for sacrifice, he speaks not from a position of comfort, but as one who has already led the way. The symbolism repudiates the neo-colonial big man style, a treasury as personal bank ethos. Traoré's action starkly contrasts that image, presenting an alternative vision of leadership as a position of service, not status. To truly grasp the significance of Captain Traoré's gesture, one must understand the crushing economic reality that the vast majority of Burkinabe citizens face every single day. This isn't a recent downturn, but a generational struggle for survival in one of the world's most challenging economic and environmental landscapes. Burkina Faso consistently ranks among the world's most impoverished nations. Well over 40% live below the international poverty line, surviving on less than $2 a day. This stark statistic means millions struggle to secure their next meal. Affording basic healthcare is a luxury, and sending children to a properly equipped school is an often unattainable dream. Against this backdrop, a presidential salary is a fortune to the average citizen. It's a potent symbol of the immense inequality between the struggling masses and a small, insulated political and business elite. The national economy rests on two fragile pillars: agriculture and gold. Agriculture employs 80% of the population but is dangerously climate vulnerable due to desertification and erratic rainfall. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso is a major gold producer, yet for decades this immense mineral wealth has paradoxically failed to enrich the nation, with much of it leaking out. Multinational corporations dominate mining, often operating under opaque contracts negotiated by past administrations. These agreements include generous tax holidays and legal mechanisms to repatriate profits, leaving only a fraction of the billions generated for the national treasury. Citizens watch heavily guarded gold convoys depart while their local clinics have empty shelves and schools lack desks. This fuels deep frustration with foreign interests and the domestic elite perceived as complicit. Traoré's refusal taps directly into this anger, signaling he's on the people's side and highlighting the moral bankruptcy of vast income gaps. It is a silent critique of past management and a powerful promise to reorient national priorities, a pledge to use the nation's resources to uplift everyone, not just a select few. While deeply symbolic, Captain Traoré's decision is also an astute and calculated political strategy. In the wake of a military takeover where legitimacy is questioned, such actions are crucial for consolidating power. The move is designed not just for domestic consumption, but to help him navigate a complex geopolitical landscape where international partners are watching. Domestically, refusing a salary resonates powerfully with a population grappling with economic hardship. It builds a broad base of popular support, especially among the youth and urban poor, who see a leader who appears to share their struggles and is committed to national recovery. He sets himself apart from the professional political class, a vital move for a transitional government seeking legitimacy without an electoral mandate. By embodying personal austerity, he contrasts his leadership with the alleged opulence of past regimes, elevating his moral standing. This narrative blunts rivals' critiques as opponents can be more easily discredited as defenders of a broken self-serving system. Externally, this visible popular backing provides a powerful shield. When regional bodies like ECOWAS or Western nations consider sanctions, they face a leader embraced by his people. It complicates the diplomatic narrative. A selfless leader is harder to isolate than a self-interested autocrat, reframing criticism as interference against the popular will. Internally, the impact is designed to be transformative. When the head of state works for free, it creates a moral imperative for reform. It provides the political capital to launch anti-corruption campaigns, push for asset declarations from officials, and demand transparency in public spending. This is a strategic move to trigger a cultural shift within the state, signaling that the era of impunity is over, starting from the very top. While the symbolic power is undeniable, critics point to practical realities. A head of state does not live on a salary alone. The state provides essential needs. State housing is secure and maintained at public expense. Transport, vehicles, aircraft, helicopters, is budgeted for domestic and international duties. Movement involves complex logistics and security protocols that would be astronomical privately, but are operational state expenses. Security is non-negotiable. Elite guards, training, equipping, and payroll borne by the state. Allowances and official expenses remain. Hosting, ceremonies, and operational lines persist even without take-home pay. Acknowledging this does not diminish the symbolism, it provides a complete picture. The gesture's power lies not in personal hardship, but in the public declaration. He will not profit from office, a potent message even when the state meets his basic needs. Traoré's leadership emerged from a security crisis that displaced millions and destabilized the nation. Security consumes a vast portion of the national budget. Soldiers, weapons, intelligence. Refusing a salary is a small drop fiscally, but symbolically aligns leadership with the national war effort. Foreign policy pivots from France toward new partners including Russia, framed as sovereignty over neo-colonial influence. Mining contracts are under review to retain a larger share of gold revenues for development and security. Resource nationalism answers economic leakage and seeks structural benefit for citizens. Government mobilization programs call youth to civil defense and agricultural projects, requiring public buy-in. Leadership by example is crucial. Visible sacrifice encourages citizens to contribute, from defense groups to community farms. His gesture is integral to a broader strategy of national mobilization and self-reliance. Public reaction has been overwhelmingly positive across large segments of society. It grants a powerful mandate and rare regional popularity. Young people, often marginalized, embrace his anti-establishment image. Salary refusal reads as radical defiance. It lends moral authority to anti-corruption drives and accountability efforts. Skeptics call it populist theater, arguing durable institutions, rule of law, and transparent governance matter more than personal gestures. If security and the economy fail to improve, goodwill may evaporate. Experts warn against a cult of personality. The goal is institutional integrity that outlasts any leader. The long-term challenge is translating a powerful symbol into permanent, systemic change. For lasting impact, the gesture must catalyze deeper transformation in governance. Institutionalize transparency and accountability through robust anti-corruption measures and strengthened auditing bodies. Enforce asset declarations, create independent commissions, and protect them from interference. Publish mining contracts, disclose corporate payments, and make the budget public and accessible. Prioritize merit-based hiring and fair wages to reduce petty corruption. Embed service ethos through training that emphasizes ethics, integrity, and good governance. Build resilient institutions, strengthen the judiciary, protect press freedom, and create legal frameworks so no official is above the law. Captain Ibrahim Traore's refusal is a defining act in a nation yearning for a new era of leadership. It is patriotism, solidarity in hardship, and a pointed rebuke of elite enrichment. It speaks to poverty amidst resources, a debilitating security crisis, and distrust in institutions. Symbols cannot fix economies or end wars alone, but they can inspire the unity needed to begin. The true measure is not money saved, but the change it inspires. The path forward: secure territory, build a self-reliant economy, and establish durable democratic institutions. In the end, the vow is a promise of leadership rooted in service and sacrifice, and of resources used for the people. Whether it is fulfilled will define his legacy and the future of Burkina Faso.